Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Katie and today we are going to be creating this notepad cover right here using the Latte Love stamp set and die cuts from Stampin Up. So I am not the original creator of this notepad cover. That is Brandy Cox, who is Brandy's Cards here on YouTube, and I will link her original video in the description below. But when I saw this stamp set, I knew I wanted to make a notepad cover using this collection just because I am a huge coffee lover and I have a lot of coffee lovers in my life that I can give this to. This stamp right here, however, is from a retired stamp set. So I did pull out some of my older stamp sets that are coffee related, and I used the Life Happens Coffee Helps from the Coffee Cafe. Again, this is an older retired stamp set. And then I had this one too, the Perfect Blend, that had some really cute sentiments on it as well. So with this, you are going to need either a score tool, the paper trimmer that has the score attachment to it, or if you don't have any of that, you can actually use a straight edge, so just any ruler, and a bone folder to make the creases if you don't have any of these tools. I have the Simply Scored scoring tool. I just recently purchased it, and it actually is a really handy tool. It can help you make boxes, and it makes this project a breeze. So here's all the paper that you're going to need, and I will have all of the measurements linked down below as well. So don't worry about trying to write everything down and memorizing what I cut out and where I scored. I will have all the information listed below. So the first sheet you'll need is a piece by 8.5 by 11, and you are going to put it at the 11th mark and score it at 5 1/4 and 5 3/4. And this essentially is your cover. Then just fold it, and fold it again. And you can see right there, super simple, that's the cover. The next piece you're going to need is actually the pocket piece. So on the inside, there's this really nice pocket right here. And you can see it's actually got a good amount of room in it, and you could even fit some embellishments in there. You could fit candy bars in there. I bet a Hershey's candy bar would fit in there really well because chocolate and coffee go together perfectly. You could put gift cards in there. You could even fit a card in there. So this next piece for the pocket is 6.5 by 4 3/4. And you are going to score it at the 1/2 inch mark, the 3/4 mark, and then 5 3/4, and then 6. And then you're going to turn it to the short side, and you are going to score at 1/2 inch. And then score again at 3/4. And then same thing as before, just fold on all those lines. And then what we're going to do is actually cut out the corner. So just kind of cut on those lines. For both of them, and this will essentially make your pocket. So this all folds up and it kind of folds onto itself, and when you glue it down, you will glue it down this way. So just for ease, before I glue it to the cover, I like to just stick a little glue dot in the corner and then just fold it, and that just helps it keep its shape better for when I'm gluing it down. You could use any type of glue you like. If you like liquid adhesive, if you like the snail or if you like the tear tape. It really doesn't matter for this part what you use. The liquid glue will obviously take a little longer to dry, and just for you know, quick assembly, I like to use a little glue dot. And it doesn't matter if it's a little off or wonky, because you're going to glue it down straight when you actually glue it down. Let's see here. Then the notepad itself, I added a cover just to kind of cover up this part right here. And the notepads I did use are the yellow basic ones that you can find pretty much anywhere, but you can find them in white as well. And I'll try to find some that are white that I can link below. I know most people prefer the white versus the yellow pad, and I just kind of used what I had on hand. So this piece right here that is going to cover the notepad will actually be 5 by 2. And then you score it at 1. And then 1 1/4. So essentially you're just giving it that 1/4 of an inch to cover the top. And then you just glue that on down. So I'm actually going to just go ahead and get that glued down right away. And for this, the Stampin' Seal will work just good. And again, personal preference, whatever your favorite type of glue is. So that is the parts that you really need the scoring tool for. The rest is pretty much stamping. So I will go ahead and get this out of the way. And I'm going to bring back my original just to kind of get an idea of the pattern I made. I decided to make my own DSP. Its collection does come with really fun DSP in the whole suite. The suite is currently unavailable until the 22nd of April, but it is set to come back. It does have really fun paper, but I decided to go ahead and make my own. And what we're going to do is start with the cover. So this piece right here is 5 1/4 by 5. So it's 5 1/4 wide by 5 inches tall. And I want to make sure I put it down here the correct way. So when I make my DSP, it is all facing the correct direction. The colors I chose are Early Espresso and Crumb Cake and Pecan Pie. And you can see that I have some of the older stamp pads still and one of the newer ones. And again, use whatever you have. These definitely still have some ink life left in them, so I'm just going to use them until I can't anymore. So I'm just going to kind of follow the exact same pattern that I had before. And for some of these, I am going to slightly stamp off the paper because it's just kind of fun to have it, some of it on, some of it off. You know, if it's too uniform, it almost looks like, you know, it's not very appealing to the eye. Things in odds are usually quite good appealing to the eye, and it's good in decoration. So they always say to decorate in odds with decor, and it's the same thing with crafting. All right, the next one, I'm gonna go, I think this is the color I want, yes. So this fun coffee stain. Again, some of them on, some of them off. And I'm really just looking to the one I already created just to kind of get a good idea of how I put this together. And then, let's see here, where is the splatter? I don't think I have the splatter on one yet. So this is fun too. This is like a fun little drip of coffee. And some of these you can do the first color and then, you know, second generation too, if you wanted to make it a little lighter. So it does give that really fun effect. You get 2 different tones for one shade. I'm going to keep this with the dark and just kind of changing directions just to kind of, you know, add something to it. Again, some of them being off the page, some of them being the full design, and then some of them just being partial designs on the page. All right. And then I had the cute little coffee beans. And I'm just kind of stamping those randomly throughout the page as well. Some on, some off, kind of alternating the colors that I've used. So again, I used the Early Espresso, the Pecan Pie, and then the Crumb Cake. Just to kind of create my own little pattern paper. I might add more beans than anything else because coffee beans are just fun. And they add a really cute little design element to the page. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go with one over here. And kind of want to get one more over there. Okay. And then for the coffee cups, I wanted to fill those up as well. So I'm using both of the designs. One is a heart. And then the other one, well, they both actually have hearts in them, but one's shaped like a heart, and then one's more of a swirl with a heart. So I just want to kind of make sure, I'll wipe off that little excess on the block. And same thing with these, just kind of want to make sure that I am not doing all of them the same. I think I'll do the other one over here. And then the next one, I think I'm going to do the pecan, but second generation, just to make it a little lighter. So I'll kind of ink it off, up, and then, because, you know, everyone likes their coffee a little different. Some people like heavy cream, some people like no cream, some people like a little bit of cream. So they're all going to look a little different. And this is for the front cover. Now the next one, this is for the cover on the pocket. And this measures 4 7/8 by 3 7/8. So I'm just going to flip over my scratch piece of paper and pretty much do the same exact pattern. And really, again, just kind of keeping in mind not to do anything even, do things odd, number, switch around the designs so the coffee handles aren't all facing the exact same direction. Do some on, do some off. And really just kind of keeping with the same design I had before. Now, this is such an easy and quick project. Once you start making them, you're going to find that you're going to want to make them for absolutely everyone. They make really good quick gifts if you need like a last minute gift, or if you need a gift for, like, let's say a teacher, or maybe even a new mom who needs to write down a bunch of notes to keep track of stuff. They have just such good uses for all of this. And they're, again, really quick to kind of throw together. And you can even like overlap some of these designs too. Don't be afraid to get super creative with your very own DSP, because in reality, it all should be different and unique, because that really just makes the crafting a lot more fun. So I think I'm going to, maybe I do want one more there. Actually, I think I'm going to do the coffee beans. Some on, some off, and just, you know, scattered all over the place. And that will be our cover for the pocket. And I'm not sure if I need this right now until I get to the cover. So I will need this in a little bit. So putting this together, I will recommend that you use a stronger adhesive when putting the notepad on, because this is kind of heavy. You know, it's got that cardboard back, so you are going to want a heavier adhesive. So I would maybe use the Stampin' Seal Plus. I don't know, I don't have it, so I haven't tried that out yet. But the tear tape is definitely a stronger adhesive, and it's really nice to just get it on there and tear it off. I know they used to have a long time ago that red line tape, which that stuff was super strong, but let me tell you, it was hard to get the backing off. So the assembly goes pretty darn quick as well. So we already put the cover on, so make sure you put the cover on first before you assemble it, because otherwise you won't be able to get it on the back. And really I just kind of eyeball it, and I left a little more space on top than I did on the bottom, but I tried to make it as even as possible in this area. So there is, you know, evenness on each side, but the top and bottom, there's a little less left over on the bottom. And then to assemble the pocket, I'm going to use the tear tape as well. And you can use liquid adhesive if that is your adhesive of choice. I know sometimes I like using both the tear tape and the liquid adhesive. The tear tape, again, for the strength, but the liquid adhesive, because you get a little bit of wiggle room if you're not good at lining stuff up and you're just kind of eyeballing it like I typically do. You can obviously measure it out if you feel the need necessary, but 99.9% of the time, I use a ruler for a straight edge, and maybe to measure something again because I forgot the dimensions that I cut it out. I am definitely an eyeball kind of a gal. So what I did is made sure I lined it up on the bottom though. So when I put the little pocket in, I did make sure I lined it up on the bottom of the notepad. And this goes right over on the other side. And again, trying to keep it in the middle and keeping it as straight as possible. And then I just use the bone folder to kind of get that down. And we can get the little DSP that we created and put that right there. You can decorate the inside more if you chose to. I kind of did keep the inside a little on the plain side, but you could easily jazz it up more. You could even decorate this back side if you wanted to. You could add more up here. All I did was cut out some of the coffee beans, and I will just glue them right on here because I thought it was just a cute little touch of like coffee beans being thrown there. I'm going to use the liquid adhesive for that. Just kind of throw that on there. You could even put a cute little note on there. If you're really good at like calligraphy or handwriting, you could write something really fun there as well. And then for the cover, so you can see it just kind of shuts on itself, and it's really the same thickness as the notepad, so it does sit nice and flat. This assembly is super easy. Again, just a note, remember when you are making your DSP, if you are making DSP, to make sure that this part is the 5 1/4 and this is the 5 inches, because otherwise if you do it the other way, it's not going to line up correctly. So just using the seal for this as well. And I typically like to just line it up in the corner, and then it should really just fall onto itself. So for this part up here, I did do a little bit of tearing just to kind of add a little bit of texture, and Brandy did that as well on hers. So this piece right here is 3 by 5. or 3 by 5 1/4. So 5 1/4 by 3, because it is the same length as the notepad cover. And I'm just going to kind of tear it towards me. Now you can tear all sort of ways, but I'm just going to do towards me, just tearing a little bit off the bottom. And I think I will keep with what I did before and tear a little bit off the top as well, flipping it over and again tearing towards myself to kind of get the same effect. And if you really like a distressed edge with the tearing, you can then go over with your scissors and just open them up and kind of like scrape it a little bit. And that really gives like an extra distress. You can see that there's little pieces of the paper kind of flying everywhere, and it gives it a nice thicker edge if that is the look you're going for. And I think it's actually kind of cute, so we're going to go with that. Now for the assembly of the cover, for the original one, I did use some linen thread, and I decided to use the Bakers Twine instead, and that is just a little thicker. I am using the ribbon that kind of goes with the suite. This is just called the Polka Dot, and it's in the natural, and it's got some really cute white polka dots. It's nice and thick too. So it would hold a shape if you're bending it, if you're trying to make a bow out of it, but I just kept them straight and kind of put them behind the 2 cups. To save on time, I did cut out the cups ahead of time. I didn't color them in. You could easily color them in, and if you get the DSP, I believe there is matching cups that you can cut out with the DSP as well. For the coffee, I did stamp 2 different colors, again, because some people really like a lot of cream in their coffee and some people like less, so I kind of made those ones a little different. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment right away, just so I kind of have the sentiment done, and then I kind of know where to place the decor. So I'm going to go ahead and get that inked up. Again, this is a retired stamp set, but you know, sometimes I like bringing stuff out of my stash and using some old with the new, especially if it's got the same kind of theme going on. And oh, that did not stamp right. So we are just going to flip that over and try again. This does not want to stamp right. There might be something underneath. All right, try again. I'm going to try it on the scratch piece of paper first. It could be my surface. The photopolymer stamps do like to have a little bit of squish behind them, so I'm going to actually bring out some foam that I have and see if that helps. And this should. With the photopolymer, a lot of times they need a little bit of squish behind them, so go ahead and get that inked up. Kind of clean off the bottom part. And remember, there are no mistakes in crafting, just opportunities to embellish. So we're going to do the same thing, just kind of rough up this side, because I had to go ahead and stamp it on the other side. I'll still get the same awesome effect. I am not worried about having to use it, and the amazing part of this paper, since it is so nice and thick, you can't even see it on the other side. We're going to cover it anyway if you could, but this is really nice high quality paper, so you don't see it anyway. All right, I'll get that out of the way. And then the fun part is really the assembling of all of this. What I did is just cut a few of, let's see here, probably about 3 inches, maybe 3 inches. Again, just kind of eyeballing all of this. And I made kind of a crisscross effect on that, and I just put that down. So I will use the glue dots for these as well. if I can find my glue dots. Which of course they have escaped me. So there we are. Lots of stuff on my desk. Just kind of to put them in place. And then another one to hold it down temporarily. I'll probably have to use some liquid glue to really get this adhered down, just because this is a thicker kind of burlap material, but just to have them kind of down in place, just so I know where I'm putting everything else. For the Bakers Twine, I'm going to do kind of the loops. That one's only 2, so I think I'll use a little more than that. I like to do the 3 loops just kind of around my fingers. And again, with the glue dots, I just like to use them to kind of hold this all in place. And kind of just put that down in the background. There will be more glue on top of all of this because I am going to use some dimensionals, and I'm going to raise these up. I like the look of them a little higher, and we can kind of manipulate this a little bit and kind of move those guys around. And then this one will kind of be right there. So I don't need the dimensionals on this side, but I will need them on this side, so they are laying at the same height with each other, but overlapping. I have that there, and then I did cut out a little bit more of the little coffee beans. And just kind of tucked them underneath there. And then last but not least, kind of just putting that on top of there. So I am going to, I think, rough that up a little more. And then for this, you can add a little bit of glue back here to kind of get the 2 cups to stick together. And then I'm just going to add some liquid adhesive for this part, just because you do get that nice little wiggle room if you don't place it exactly where you want it right away. So here are the 2 coffee versions that I made, one with the base of Early Espresso and the other one with the base of Crumb Cake. And I think they both just look really cute and would be, oh, I almost forgot. Huh, how could I forget? Gotta add the beautiful little swirl dots. So these are the swirl dots that come in the suite as well, just adhesive backed swirl dots. And I'm just gonna go ahead and add a couple of those pretty much in the exact same area, because really they looked good in where I placed them before. And you just want to try to make a visual triangle when you are doing embellishments. So there's kind of that visual triangle, and it is an odd as well. So again, just visually appealing in decor. So there we go. Now, here are the 2 that I created using the Latte Love stamp set and die cut from Stampin' Up. Both have the inside decorated the exact same way. And then I did make another one if making your own DSP is not your jam. I did create another one using the, let's see here, the Hello Irresistible paper pack. So this actually comes in 6x6 DSP, so it's really easy just to cut it down, and there's barely any waste then because it already is a 6x6 paper pad. But same concept. I did the exact same measurements. I just used the DSP instead of the cardstock or my own DSP to kind of cover everything up. So same kind of idea. Really cute little notepad cover. Great for any kind of gift for anyone. You know, definitely coffee themed for the coffee lovers, but this could be perfect for, you know, Mother's Day, for just because for anyone who is an avid note taker. anytime. These are just the perfect little gifts, super easy to create, and you can pretty much use any DSP or make your own. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you all enjoyed the little tutorial. Again, check out Brandy's YouTube channel, Brandy's Cards, and I will have all the information listed below. The last thing I kind of want to remind you all about is today there is a sale up on the website. There are some items that are going on sale today, and that will be items that will be retiring in the current catalog and the current mini catalog. So thank you so much, as always, for joining me. See you all next time, and happy crafting.